I was working on a shadow from this LA Splash. LA Splash. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you the first update for my pan, Those Eyeshadows project pan. So this project was created by Alexi, who is no longer posting on YouTube, but you can watch their previous pan, Those Eyeshadows videos, and I'll have her linked down below. I'm also utilizing the prompts created by Lainey, so I'll also have Lainey's channel and the prompt list linked down below in case you would like to check them out. So I have two parts to this project. I'm currently panning 4 eyeshadows with the goal to hit pan on each of them. In addition to that, I also have 2 monthly palettes because I'm doing bi-monthly updates that I am aiming to use for a unique look using only that palette up to 4 times each. But before we go through those monthly focus palettes, let's jump in and have a look at the shadows I was working on since last update. I am super pleased to say that this was a fantastic panning month, and I'm looking forward to showing you my success. First up for the prompt, any matte shadow. We're working on a shadow from this Sportsgirl Mystic Moonseeker palette. And the shadow we were working on was Shooting Star, just up here. And as you can see there, can you see that? There we go. That shiny little pan, I was able to hit pan. I will have over here a picture of what it looked like when it was rolled in and a picture of what it looks like now. So I used this shadow 22 times and I was able to hit pan on the 20th of March. So this one is rolling out. Then for the prompt, a shadow you want to hit pan on, I have been working on shadow 3 from this Essence Hello New York palette. This is what it's looking like, and I have my fingers like this because I have another shadow underneath this one. So as you can see, I have managed to hit pan. Once again, I'll have a before and after over here, but you can see my pretty pan there. And like I said in my introduction, this one had quite a dip in it, as you can see in the picture. And that means I actually only had to use this twice before I hit pan. And I managed to hit pan on the 27th of February. So this one is rolling out. Then for the prompt, pan graveyard, which is a shadow I've previously tried to hit pan on. I was working on a shadow from this LA Splash Presents Classic Horror palette, and it was the shade Toxic over here. And as you can see, I've also managed to hit pan on this one. Once again, over here, you'll see my before and after. As the prompt suggests, I'd already tried to hit pan on this one, so therefore it only took me 3 additional uses to do so. I managed to hit that pan on the 24th of February, and this one will also roll out. Then for a grey matte shadow, we're going back into my Essence Hello New York palette, and specifically to this shade down here. You can also see I have hit pan here as well. This one took me 14 uses, and I hit this pan on the 30th of March. Once again, I'll have the befores and afters over here. So that means, looking at that, I have managed to hit pan on all 4 of the eyeshadows that were in this project, which means we're going to be rolling in 4 more shadows. But before we do that, let's have a look at the looks I managed to do for my introductory focus palettes. Focus palette number 1 was the Nomad by Juvia's Place. This is what this palette looks like, and I am pleased to say that I did create 4 unique looks, and I actually used every shadow in this palette at least once. For a little feedback on this palette, I will say overall there are only 2 shimmers. So this one here and this one here. This is what they look like. Right there. One of them is quite dark and one of them is a lot lighter. This one has the ability to be either a lid shade or an inner corner highlight, where this one really is only a lid shade. That means, because this is really the only shimmery inner corner highlight option, that I did actually use this shadow for all 4 of my looks, either as the inner corner highlight or as a lid shade. With only 2 shimmers in the palette, I did find that a little bit difficult for me to think of ways to brighten up this inner area of my looks. But now we'll jump into a montage of all the looks I created and which shadows I utilise. I'll also let you know on the screen what dates these were on. But let's jump in. My second focus palette was the Revolution Game of Thrones Forever Flawless Mother of Dragons palette. This is a long name, and this is what this palette looks like. I am pleased to say that for my 4 looks, I also used every shadow in this palette except for this one just down here. So this is a red shadow. I will say I found that this red shadow and this red shadow, though they are slightly different, you can see one is slightly orange, more orange, and one is a bit deeper. The 2 shadows, if I was going to put them on my eyes, would be used for a very similar aesthetic, and I didn't really want to kind of go with that aesthetic again, which is why I ended up not using this shadow at all. Otherwise, I did utilize every other shadow in this palette. Similar to the last palette, this one did not really have many inner corner highlights. This yellowy color here was the most shimmery and would probably work. Maybe even this one up here, but otherwise I had to stick a lot more with the matte shadows. Let's jump into the montage for this one so I can show you the shadows I utilized and the looks that I created. For both of these palettes, considering the color stories, they did create some very monochromatic type looks. Very same but different. And I did struggle a little bit for my 3rd and my 4th look doing something different using this palette, because it did have a lot of those warm reddy brown shades in it. And obviously this one was fantastic for the yellowy grungy looks, but really most of the looks had a very similar feel to them. So not vast differences, but I was really happy getting use out of both these palettes, and I really did enjoy this palette particularly. So before I introduce this month's focus palettes, I thought let's jump in and do my new eyeshadows. So out with the old, in with the new. So up here on the screen, you will see the Tiny Decisions app, which I utilize to select my prompts. The first prompt I got was an orange shimmer shadow, and I decided to roll in this BYS Pump It palette, and specifically the shadow Not Shy over here. It is a bronzy orange color. Let me give you a swatch of it. That is it, just there. But I do think that it suited the prompt orange shimmer. So this is what it's currently looking like. I'll have up here a photo of what it looks like in more detail, a close-up, but obviously my goal is to hit pan, and considering the texture of the shimmer shades in this palette, they are quite soft and movable. I do imagine that I'll be able to hit pan on this semi quickly. So that is my first shadow. Then we got a shadow that starts with O. And for that, I'm diving in to my Beauty Bay New Moods palette. This is what it's looking like. And the shadow specifically we are going to be focusing on is this orange right here. It's called Optimistic, which is where the O comes from. Let me give you a swatch of this one. It is a very orange shadow, and I've never swatched these two together, so that definitely makes this orange shimmer look a lot more bronzy, but oh well, it is what it is, and that's what I'm rolling in. So this is Optimistic. You'll see over here again a close-up of what it looks like now. It is semi-new. I don't think I've actually used this on my eyes before, so I'm looking forward to diving in, though it is kind of difficult to hit pan on matte shades in the Beauty Bay formula. So let's see how long this one takes. Strangely enough, an everyday shadow was actually a hard prompt to select for. I did consider going down the path of a cream shadow I could use to set my eyeshadow primer, because that tends to be the shadow I use every single day, hence an everyday shadow. But I thought, no, I might dive into something a little different that can give me some more options. So for that, I've gone with this NYX Whipped Wonderland shadow in the shade Whipped Mocha. This is it right here. It is just a medium to soft brown color. Let me give you a swatch. That's it right there. And I thought that it might work well with the orange and the shimmery orange shades. So these three here, I thought they might suit each other and I could get some looks out of them. So you'll see a close-up of what it looks like over here. And like I said, and my goal for this project in general is to hit pan. Last but not least, we got a shadow that starts with I. And I thought, you know what, let's go out the box. So this is my Menagerie Pastel Pup palette. And I've decided to roll in this shadow right here. This is called Ice Worm. And it is a pastel minty green color. Let me swatch that for you. It is, as you can probably tell from the amount that was falling off there, it is quite powdery. But it also is quite opaque when you pack it on. So this is my color story. Obviously, you'll see up here again what that currently looks like close up. But this is for my shadow starting with I. And I'm looking forward to diving in. I actually didn't want to pull this palette in for a certain extent because I wanted to savor it. And the fact that I almost put it away because I wanted to savor it made me go, no, you have to pull it out, you have to use it. So this is my current color story, and I do think I'll be able to get some pretty serious use out of these shadows, and I'm looking forward to diving into this one. Fingers crossed we can at least have one rollout next update. Though I don't know if I want all of them rolled out, because it is not as fun when you're just rolling in whole new color stories every update. But that is my new Pan Those Eyeshadows color story. Now moving on to my new focus palettes. This month, I'm actually rolling in 3 focus palettes, and that is because 2 of them are quite small, and I'm only going to have a 2-look goal associated with them. So my first focus palette is the W7 Total Eclipse palette. Sorry about what this looks like. This is it here. I have got 3 pans in here already from, I think, mostly Pan Those Eyeshadows projects. But this is a really fun color story. It's quite light, quite whimsical, and I'm looking forward to creating full looks out of this palette, because currently I've really only focused in on the shadows that I've hit pan in. So this is the first palette that we're going to be working on. The next one, as you can see here, is the I Heart Revolution Peppermint palette. And this one looks like this. So there really isn't that many shadows in here. There are only 8 shadows. So I figured that a 2-look goal would be very suitable for this palette, rather than trying to create 4 unique looks with such limited shadows. This does still have a real peppermint scent to it, and it is focusing a bit more on the greeny shadows, the more grungy looks. So I'm looking forward to diving into this one. Last but not least, the palette that was rolled in is actually my go-to travel palette when I'm going away for work or business, because of the color story. So that is this Sephora Caffeine Please palette. This is what it looks like. I do have a pan in one of these shadows, and this is very monochromatic. It is really, even judging by the way it tells you how to use this palette, it is very much a 1 or 2 look wonder. So I'm looking forward to doing 2 unique looks with it. And like I said, this is the palette I tend to use when I'm traveling for work, and I'm only going to be away for a day or 2. So this is my last focus palette, and like I said, these 2 are only going to be 2 looks, while for this one here I will be focusing on creating 4 looks. So that is all I've got for today. I've got 4 new eyeshadows to focus on hitting pan. I've got 3 new palettes to use for a number of unique looks. And it is just a total refresh. I'm looking forward to seeing where this update takes me. But until next time, I'm Verity. This was the first update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. And now to the outro.